People should know when they are conquered. And Apple has just basically acknowledged that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. Let's start off with this. NIO was last trading at $5.47, 31 cents down. The 52-week low is $5.30. The 52-week high is $16.18. As a disclaimer, I hold 2,260 shares at $3.53. Yes, because the last time it was tanking and people were pooping in their pants, I kept buying. And on the SoFi, I now hold 741 shares at $7.91. And on my IRA account, I now hold 847 shares at $7.37. We'll be looking to add more next week when I get paid. Now, people should know when they are conquered. Apple has just acknowledged that. You see, they came late into the game, one. Number two, I've said it and I'll say it again. During the pandemic, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember things very well. You see, during the pandemic on Bloomberg Radio, Yahoo Finance, etc., they were saying that, oh, this is why you should not invest in China. Because, excuse me guys, what China was doing during the pandemic is the Chinese internet schools, because people weren't going to school, right, were price gouging. The Chinese government stepped in and said every Chinese student, every Chinese child should get an education. You can make profits, but don't price gouge. And that's all they had to say for those companies to lower their prices, still make a profit. Here in the West, we said, oh, you see, this is why you shouldn't invest in China. Imagine how sick, nasty, vicious, and demonic the Western media is. They were saying that this is a bad thing, that the Chinese child should get an education. And the Chinese government is wrong. They shouldn't get an education. So, what's happening now is China has been educating their population and has been putting out 150,000 engineers plus every year. What do you think that will translate to? Let me tell you. Let me tell you what it translates to. When we told Huawei they had to leave and sanction them and they couldn't get chips, they made their own. And now they were the first company to have for the regular consumer, a satellite connected phone. France, Macron told them to come and build a factory there this year. NIO are making our own chips. We're making our own phones. We're making our own in-house motors and so much more. And why are we doing that? We're doing that so we're self-sufficient, because the West way of accelerating is by beating down, bombing, and suppressing others. China's way of growing is going into those countries we finished bombing and say, don't worry, we'll help you rebuild. And we will innovate and build you roads, electrical grids, railways, etc., like they're doing all over Africa right now. You see, I've seen the Chinese when they came to Trinidad, my old country, and they built a stadium in record time. You should see the stadium that they built. Oh my goodness. So, here in the West with Apple and what have you, if you notice, their innovation is slowing down. And another investor that I have a lot of respect for, Chamath Palihapitiya, he said, in the West, what we're doing is taking the best players, like they'll go to India and take the best people graduating out of school and put them on the bench. And tell them, no, don't try to bring out anything new. Just advance what we already have. And we're good enough with that. It's like taking someone from, I don't know, the New York Yankees, one of the best players. He doesn't fit well in maybe the Phillies, but we take him just so that he don't play for the Yankees and put him on the bench. That's what we're doing. Anyway, Bloomberg reported that Apple is canceling its decade-long EV making effort, CEOs of EV makers, including XPeng, Li Auto, Xiaomi, and GU, has expressed their views. Now the West will spin that and say it's because EV adoption is slowing down. Of course it's slowing down because no one wants to buy an EV here in the West and we can't battery swap. And the EV is worthless after 8 years. Why would we do that? That's why it's slow, but they won't tell you that. What they're saying is it's slowing down because there's not enough charging stations. Bullshit! Now listen up. I told you guys before that I was driving just recently this week. I met a young man, I think it was last week. I met a young man. He was charging his Tesla and I said to him, I pretend I did not know. I said, how long does it take to charge this, young man? He said, 40 minutes. I said, oh my God. I said, I used the F word. He said, tell me about it. Do you think he will go back and buy another Tesla? He's probably trying to get rid of this one. This young man was waiting 40 minutes early in the morning. Who knows where he was going? So they're saying here in the West on Bloomberg and what have they continually spin their lies that, it's not being adopted because there's not enough charging station. That is not why. The reason why is after 8 years, the EV is worthless because they don't have battery as a service like us. You have to wait 20 minutes to charge or to supercharge and 40 minutes for a full charge. Who wants to do that? So many executives and Chinese electric vehicle companies see Apple as one of their biggest potential threats, according to this article, in the future, considering its huge success in the consumer electronic space. And this is why I say an EV is totally different to a gas car, because it's not a car, it's a computer. This is why NIO continuously spent a lot towards research and development and innovation to continuously stay ahead of the game with updates and new technology. And this is why, one of the reasons why we're going to be the leader. Now, the iPhone maker is reportedly scrapping its car-making business, which would come as a relief to China's EV players. Apple is... That's not a relief. The only relief they will have is if NIO said, we're not going to make any more EVs, we get out of business. That will be a relief. But they know that is not happening. We are going to dominate the landscape. And as I said before, mergers are coming. And the Chinese government has been encouraging it for a while. I'm the only one saying it. Not only partnerships, but mergers. And now huge analysts are starting to say it. In the future, there will be 5 giants. And it will be through mergers. Now the analysts are saying it. Apple is scrapping its decade-long EV manufacturing effort, abandoning one of its most ambitious projects in the company's history, according to Bloomberg. Now you know why this article is saying that they see this as their biggest threat, because it's from Bloomberg. This is not our biggest threat. They're nothing. Citing people familiar with the matter, Apple made the disclosure internally Tuesday, surprising the nearly 2,000 employees involved in the project, according to the report. And the house of cards is falling. There will be massive layoffs. The project will begin to wind down, and many of the employees on the car team will be moved to the Artificial Intelligence Division under Executive John Giandiria, the report said, adding that the employees will focus on generative AI projects, which are becoming increasingly important to the company. The Apple car team also has hundreds of hardware engineers and vehicle designers. It is possible that they will be able to apply for jobs on the Apple teams. There will be layoffs, but the exact number is unclear, according to the report. The report quickly sparked, and let me say this. If there is one company that NIO has to be fearful of, in my opinion, it will be Baidu, the internet giant in China. But we don't have to be fearful, because the amount of swap stations, we have already cornered the market. They have to come to us. The report quickly sparked widespread discussion in the Chinese community, with CEOs of several EV makers voicing their opinions, expressing being shocked, but more likely relieved, according to this article. How do they know they're relieved? This is why I say no one listens to Bloomberg anymore. No one listens to Yahoo. That's why they have Tatavosian, the Poopyvosian guy, to come on YouTube now, because no one goes to their channel to listen, to spread fear and FUD and lies on YouTube. Last year, we discussed the new entrance into the auto industry would all have their cards on the table by 2024, but with the exception of Apple. Chairman and CEO of XPeng said on Weibo, the EV industry will be in a knockout and all-star game in the decade after 2024. But I didn't expect Apple to play such a card in 2024, he said. Li Shang, founder, chairman, and CEO of Li Auto, said in a Weibo post, I don't know why they're even including Li Auto because they're not a pure EV play, but anyway, that Apple's abandonment of the car building and choice of focus on AI is absolutely the right strategic choice and the timing is right. If Apple succeeds in its efforts to bring AI to the average consumer, it could become a $10 trillion company, Li said, after adding that if it loses in that endeavor, Apple would become a $1 trillion company. So, a lot of people don't know that Baidu is also an AI giant, investing heavily in AI. Apple's current market capitalization is 2.82 trillion, which is way overpriced. CNEV Post last check shows AI will be the topmost entry point to all devices, services, apps, and transactions, and is a must-have for Apple, Li said. If Apple succeeds big in the car business, it will add 2 trillion. William Li, founder, chairman, and CEO, has not yet commented on the report about Apple, and he is not active on social media. Why is that? Li has made several references to Apple over the past few years and sees the iPhone maker as a rival. So now we don't have a rival. NIO's ultimate rival is Apple, as both companies are pursuing a direction that combines technology and humanity, Li said at the January 2021 event. NIO launched its first smartphone in September. Do you guys remember that? An Android phone, a high-end Android phone. The move was made to provide NIO owners with a better experience so we can call our car. Think about it. So, I'm not going to go into the whole article because a lot of it is just fodder nonsense. But, I want you guys to understand that we are the leader. They still don't want to admit that. They're just saying, well, Apple is out, so others are relieved. But we are the leader because of battery as a service. We're giving back power to the grid, and we saw in recent articles how much money we're making from just one battery swap station. And I say it again, not just from the swapping, but from the energy we're giving back to the grid. And this year, when we build out that other 1,000 fourth generation swap stations and giving back more to the grid, how much revenue you think we will be making, guys? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Our revenue is not going to just come from selling EVs. When the EVs are sold, and these EVs are running for 20 years without problems, where is the revenue going to come from? It's going to come from updates. It's going to come from phones. It's going to come from chips. It's going to come from having to replace the motors. It's going to have to... Who are doing all of these things? And why is King William investing not just in research and development and having these things made in-house, but into new startups that are very innovative, like InnoVusion, like the company that's making our suspension system in Massachusetts, etc., etc. Also, I say it again, with that conglomeration with BYD and NIO and other companies in the field of batteries, the mergers are coming. Not right now, but they are coming. And we are sitting on a future giant to make substantial money. This is why every payday I'm buying 10, 20, whatever I can afford. I hope you guys found this video to be informational, but more so also inspirational. If so, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel we're trying to wake up the middle class to get a piece of the pie. They've held us back from getting a piece of the pie. No more. We are past the propaganda. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.